Wow! Damn, that's quick. What?
Wow, the breath control. Hello everybody, welcome back.
What an interesting episode. We are traveling back in time and we are experiencing Peking opera for the first time.
I am so excited for this.
The Drunken Concubine Case is the name of the act we're about to watch. A Chinese opera. It has a history of over 200 years. It integrates various art forms including singing, reciting, acting and martial arts, and it is known as the quintessence of the nation.
Wow. Also, it's very used in pop music today, so watching a pure Peking opera performance is gonna be like massaging my brain.
The story goes like this. Chen Shimei and Qin Shailang were married for 10 years. Chen later traveled to the capital to take the imperial examination, where he achieved the top honor. The top scoring candidate he was, unlike me, a failure, and was chosen as a son-in-law to the emperor. 3 years later, Qin Shailang with their children went to the capital to find him, only to be refused recognition by Chen. He even sent his subordinate, Han Qi, to kill her.
What? He is so mean. Why would he abandon his family just because he got a promotion and a new wife?
Okay, back to dramatics. Unable to bear killing Qin Shailang and her children, Han Qi chose to take his own life. With no other options, Qin Shailang brought a lawsuit to the Kaifeng prefecture. After investigating the truth, Judge Bao Gong, sentenced Chen Shimei to death by the dragon's axe. Qin Shailang's grievance were avenged, and justice was served.
That is so dramatic. I love it.
Wow! Damn, that's quick. Whoa, it's like weird rubato.
Ooh. I love the vocal color. That timbre is so incredible.
Is that a guy?
Yeah, this is the guy who abandoned his family.
What?
I love how that sounds.
Uh-oh.
Wow, the range though, but that vocal color. Wow, the breath control. Oh.
Everything is so intertwined, even the percussion and expressions.
Those are vocals. Or like symbols?
Zero idea.
He is so dead.
I think it might have been
A combination of both. The costumes and the set is insane. It's very cool.
So there must be, obviously there is a musical count for them to remember every step.
That is so great.
What?
What?
You know what's interesting? So
I was so interested in the storyline that the music sort of took like a back step, because it was just the medium of communication, but not like because the story and like the performance was so captivating.
Correct.
I was completely enthralled by that.
So I mentioned the word rubato. We've mentioned it in other songs,
Yes.
or in other song reviews and stuff. And this wasn't rubato per se. Also, rubato doesn't necessarily have. It doesn't really intertwine with percussion that much. It's usually just piano singer. But all it means, and I'm sure we can add the actual definition, but all it means is music is the singer essentially takes the baton, the lead. It is now leading the music, the orchestra, and usually it is the pianist. And in here, it felt it had moments in which the singer would lead just ahead of time for then every instrument to... It's not like a call-out response, it's just to continue the sequence of the song, but the leader is the singer. It felt like that in specific moments, and in other moments it felt like they're both the same signature. No one's leading anyone.
Well, do you know what I think about this particular video, the section that we just watched? As much as it was a snippet, I think the awesome part of it is how incredibly intertwined one element of art is with the other. Because you have from costume and set design, absolutely incredible, right? It's so theatrical and so incredibly stimulating. But then you have choreography and set blocking. So in theater, we call blockings the directions that the actors get given to sort of navigate the stage. And each section or each line has a specific place in the stage to be at, right? Especially if you have cues for lighting or for props and things like that. They sort of work in accompaniment to the blocking. It's sort of like a walking choreography, if you like. But in this particular performance in Peking opera, the choreography of actual movement not only dictates and sort of gives the cue to music, but it also gives the cue to where the choreography of everything else is being done. So whether the judge in this particular piece is standing or who he's talking
Bao
to.
Gong.
Yeah.
Judge Bao.
Judge Bao. So where the judge is standing, on who he's speaking to in terms of like the time signature in which he's singing, the theatrical movements and how he traverses the stage will dictate whatever else happens on stage. And I think that's so pinnacle because it doesn't happen in Western theater at all. Like this is not a discipline that is seen as an integral element of everything that I've seen.
I think also, interestingly enough, like both the vocal timbres of both are so, they're so tense in terms of they do induce tension in the audience, and obviously it makes a lot of sense then historically speaking for this type of scenes, because you're trying to dramatize the moment. This is the moment, basically, the judgment day has arrived. He has found out the truth, and there's that big, sort of like a belt, I guess. Because funnily enough, when we think of opera in the Western sense, you get that sort of lyrical, operatic, big room, high notes, really resonant.
A lot of vibrato, very resonant, sort of like bit belting.
But here it's like completely different technique, and in the sense of like climax of the whole piece. That was it. It was that continuous note of just constant tension, and there was no fluctuation, there was no vibrato, it was like straight tone all the way, and it makes it feel like, oh my god, it's like a fucking alarm bell or something.
Correct. Actually, that's exactly what you're amplifying in terms of like the dynamic of the storytelling, because it's so absorbing, it's so immersive. The idea of having something so grating in terms of like vocal texture and how they approached it, given the fact that this is a discipline that is so old. To me, it's so fascinating that we have been able to understand the impact of sounds on people, because also the freaking breath control, that is insane.
Because it was long enough for you to at least take a breath, and it was nothing like that.
I would love, what I would love to see? How these actors and singers
train and practice. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the most sort of pinnacle Peking opera's performances and sort of scenes. Obviously, Judge Bao, it's sort of unwavering justice. He's the representation of that. And Chen is more stubbornness and sort of trying to get your way all the time. People look at figures like Judge Bao as symbols of honesty and like being like an upright official.
Okay.
The righteous officer, if you like, impartial, unwavering, high integrity, and will always uphold justice, you know, these types of figures. And then in the drunken concubine case, even when facing strong interference from the princess or the empress, he still mercilessly sentences the criminal Chen Shimei to death by the dragon's axe, regardless of, again, all the swaying powers that were at play, to demonstrate, again, the firm image and the embodiment of justice, which is the will of the people, essentially.
Nice.
It's super interesting because culturally, for a very long time, this has been a prevailing sort of figure, it seems, in Chinese culture, of the honest official, you know. For example, in South America, like, I guess we have some folk in which, you know,
justice gets served.
Yeah, but it's not like.
There's not a specific figure that I can completely recall.
Yeah. Well, I guess historically, but not dramatized in theater or in opera.
No, also I feel like because China has a very long history with the theatricals. It's very rich in entertainment since the beginning of the empire.
Correct. Music's always been such a big deal there. Writing, poetry.
Correct.
Well, writing is such a ginormous deal in China.
So it gets formalized in
Yep.
China. So I think a lot of the historical impact that this has sort of determines what modern music and modern theatrical performances actually are like in China. And it's a very good analysis to kind of like dive into it, because it's the root, it's the foundation for a lot of the things that we watch. And if you didn't look back at the history, you wouldn't really understand the rich extent of that influence in modern music.
And it's been proven that it can still be commercial. You see a lot of these young kids sample them and use it in short sounds. Obviously, you see Gong Li Na being sampled and used in the Duying and stuff. So it definitely, it's not dead. It's not a technique that can be dead. It just has to be modernized in certain sense and let the kids be the kids.
And it's always good to see, for example, in shows like The Singer, where they reimagine some of these classics and have some of that fundamental flavor without changing it too much.
I want to see more.
Me too.
Goodbye.